Tonight, a deadly day. Victoria's coronavirus crisis claims more lives as a Sydney court bans a Black Lives Matter rally because of COVID-19. Weather alert: torrential rain on the Gold Coast, now moving south along the New South Wales coastline. Celebrating a wonderful milestone, a Perth great-grandmother turned 105. And duelling duchesses, the new book revealing tensions within the royal family.
This is 7 News with Angela Cox.
Good evening. Victoria has recorded its deadliest day of the coronavirus pandemic. 10 people have died, including a man in his 40s. There are also 459 new infections as the Premier slammed people refusing to wear face masks. Laurel Irving has more.
And we knew it was coming. For weeks here in Victoria, we've had hundreds of new cases every day. Now we're seeing our death toll climb. 10 people have lost their lives overnight, the youngest in his 40s, busting the myth that COVID is a disease only for older people. But 7 of those who died are aged care residents, and that's the biggest crisis in Victoria right now. We have major outbreaks at many homes across the state, more than 560 cases. Many of them spread, health authorities believe, by casual workers who work at more than one facility. And of course, they're spreading the virus to our most vulnerable members of our community. And these are outbreaks that health authorities are really struggling to bring under control. And amidst this crisis, we have people refusing to wear masks, even though they're compulsory now in Victoria. People even filming themselves, having confrontations with police and with Bunnings staff members, saying that it violates their human rights to wear a mask. Well, the Premier is furious.
All right. This is not about human rights. Well, there's 10 families that are going to be burying someone in the next few days. Wear a mask. It's not too much to ask.
In Victoria, we have another 459 cases today. It means our active cases are now more than 4,200. We are now nearly halfway through our second lockdown. It was supposed to be a 6-week lockdown. With numbers like that, it's hard not to think that that lockdown will soon be extended. Ange?
In New South Wales, the Supreme Court has sided with police blocking a Black Lives Matter rally from going ahead in Sydney. Organisers say they're going to protest no matter what. Miley Hogan has more.
Good afternoon. Protesters that attend a Black Lives Matter rally could be arrested or fined for breaching public health orders. The Supreme Court today sided with police, ruling the event a prohibited public assembly. The march was planned to go ahead on Tuesday, with protesters organised to walk from Town Hall to State Parliament, showing solidarity for the Black Lives Matter movement and bringing attention to Indigenous deaths in custody here in Australia. The Supreme Court Justice accepted that there was no evidence a previous rally held last month had led to any transmission of coronavirus through the community, but ruled the risk had now increased, with New South Wales presently being on the knife edge of a further escalation in community transmission. Despite the Supreme Court ruling, protesters say they will go ahead.
There's huge sporting grounds full of people. There's shopping centres full of people. We are not the problem. We are not the ones who are responsible for the coronavirus. You have absolutely nothing to fear from our demonstration. Organisers
of the protest say they are negotiating with police to move the event to the Domain, where they say they can safely social distance. Lawyers representing the organisers say they will appeal the Supreme Court decision, but police have made it clear they will fight it, saying that the event cannot and should not go ahead.
Critics of the COVID Safe app say the Morrison government must fix problems with the software or abandon it. Political reporter Tim Lester has been speaking with some of those who say the app is simply not working.
Ange, COVID Safe is 3 months old today, but far from settling in, the app meant to help our contact tracers chase down virus cases is beset by an increasing number of questions. App developers have briefed 7 News on a couple of those today, including one where they say iPhone users simply stop getting the telltale Bluetooth pings that are meant to record when they're close to other app users.
So after it's seen 100 devices, it no longer connects to any more. It's amazing that issues like this still exist, and these issues would not have existed if they had used the Apple-Google framework.
We can think with very high likelihood that the Apple-Google API is likely to work a lot better. So to me, the natural thing is to switch over to the thing that's a lot more likely to work.
The government argues the alternative from Apple and Google would amount to outsourcing Australia's pandemic response to the tech giants, but political pressure is growing.
My understanding is the application is not delivering any information that's useful to health authorities.
Well, the app just isn't working, Tim. That's the cold, hard truth.
And an important note, Ange, none of the app's critics today that spoke with 7 News say that people should now take the app off their phone. They argue even if it only detects a small number of contacts, they could be useful for tracking down the virus.
OK, thank you, Tim. 2 people were stabbed in a violent alcohol-fuelled brawl in Sydney's CBD overnight. Witnesses say it was a bloodbath. An 18-year-old has been arrested. Tom Saker reports.
Good afternoon. Police say it started out as a verbal altercation and quickly turned into an all-out brawl, with one man allegedly stabbing 2 people. An 18-year-old man has been charged with stabbing a 25 and 28-year-old man after police say 2 groups had been drinking alcohol and fighting, but what triggered the brawl remains a mystery.
Exactly why they came into contact with each other in the first instance is still under investigation.
Witnesses say they saw the 18-year-old produce a knife and stab one of the men several times in the abdomen before he was rushed to St Vincent's Hospital.
I seen one guy run up to another fellow that was in cuffs with a knife and basically lunged into him 2 or 3 times and then he ran off.
The other victim, police say, was stabbed in the back and he was taken to hospital in a critical condition but is now listed as stable. Police also arrested a 21-year-old man last night, but he was released this morning without charge. Others involved in the brawl returned to the scene this morning. Were you involved last night? The 18-year-old man has been refused bail and will face court tomorrow. Police hope more witnesses will come forward so they can figure out why exactly this group began fighting in the first place.
1 person has died and 3 others have been injured when a 4-wheel drive rolled on Fraser Island. The vehicle was carrying 4 international tourists and was travelling along 75 Mile Beach at low tide when the accident happened. 2 RACQ Life Flight Rescue helicopter crews were sent to treat the injured and fly them to hospital. Heavy rain is sweeping down the New South Wales coast after causing flash flooding on the Gold Coast earlier today. The swell is also expected to rise over the coming days and cause headaches for those living in beachfront homes on the Central Coast. When it comes to breakfast, not even a flooded road could stop this man, determined to collect his food from a delivery driver before making the wet trip back home. Despite the dangers, many drivers still chose to ignore police and drive through floodwaters. The Gold Coast hit by up to 184 millimetres of rain in the past 24 hours.
We saw sustained and widespread rainfall about the southeast coast, and that resulted in many locations recording more than their July monthly average of rainfall within a day or 2.
The heavy rain had passed by mid-morning, leaving the Mudgeeraba showgrounds looking more like a local swimming pool.
I was surprised when I saw that. That's crazy.
You don't see this stuff every day. It's good to get up and just have a look.
The rain now impacting most of the New South Wales coast.
And this weather was caused by an offshore trough with an embedded low pressure system. This low has now moved further south just off the New South Wales coast, and it's taken the majority of the rainfall with it.
The waves have been building in size off Sydney beaches throughout the day. A swell of up to 6 metres is expected early next week, causing more headaches for residents at Wamberal on the New South Wales Central Coast. Council has been desperately trying to shore up the dunes to stop further damage to beachside homes. A Western Australian great-grandmother living through the second pandemic of her lifetime has celebrated a very special milestone. Nellie Marriott wasn't about to let the coronavirus crisis ruin her 105th birthday, so she threw a party. Brittany Hoskins was there.
Nellie Marriott has seen a lot in a century and now she can add birthday party in a pandemic to her list. Today, around 50 of her closest family and friends helped celebrate her massive milestone after turning 105 on Wednesday.
She's a jolly good fellow, and so say all of us.
Nellie is a mother of 2, a grandmother to 7 and a great-grandmother to 8, who's lived most of her life in WA's southwest. Her fondest memories raising her family in the bush.
When we lived down around Dwelling Up, we used to walk everywhere, and there was, yes, they were my best memories, I think.
Born on the 22nd of July 1915, the great-grandmother has lived through 2 world wars and has links to WA's Swan River colony. She says the biggest change she has seen in 100 years would be the invention of household cleaning appliances.
When I had a house, it was a lot of hard work keeping a house clean. Now they have everything.
And today she revealed her secret to a long and healthy life.
I walked a lot. I walked miles and miles and miles because I never had motor cars.
But the great-grandmother still enjoys a treat. What birthday bash would be complete without some cake? While walking has no doubt kept Nellie young, she admits she has good genes as well.
Happy birthday, Nellie. Still to come in 7 News, opposing armed militias face off in the United States during a Black Lives Matter rally. And the duelling duchesses, new clues about the relationship between Meghan and Kate. That's next.
We want you to build an entire station from scratch.
This crew can't just be good.
Rob Lowe.
They gotta be the best.
And Liv Tyler.
You do what I say, Captain.
The new action thrill ride, 911 Lone Star, Monday on 7.
At Harvey Norman, get 60 months interest free and receive a bonus gift card up to the value of $500. Make your home beautiful with our range of Australian-made furniture and bedding. Lounge and dining furniture with options to customise fabric, leather, size and shape. Trusted Australian-made mattress brands and bedroom furniture created to suit your style. We're open, so come in store and support Australian-made. Get 60 months interest free and receive a bonus gift card valued at up to $500. Now at Harvey Norman.
Go! Can you bring the glasses? Oh, it's annoying. They're still wet.
To help avoid that, just add Finish Rinse Aid. It speeds up drying for drier and shinier dishes. Try Finish Rinse Aid today.
Alan has seen the whole world. Time to discover what's nearby. Trivago compares hotel deals from major booking sites, making it easy to find your ideal offer nearby. Time to explore Australia. Hotel Trivago.
Learn hands-on real-world skills while you earn money with a fee-free apprenticeship or traineeship with Australia's largest education provider. Search Take New South Wales Apprenticeships or call 131 601.
A car has collided with an ambulance in Sydney's west overnight. Just before 2 a.m, the ambulance was transporting a patient when it was hit by a Holden Commodore in Maryland. The car's driver returned a positive breath test. The 32-year-old was treated by paramedics before being taken to hospital. The paramedics and a patient inside the ambulance were not hurt. To the US, where tensions are running high in Louisville, Kentucky. Gunshots were fired during a rally when 2 opposing militia groups faced off against each other. Both groups were heavily armed. US correspondent Paul Caddack reports.
Good evening, Angela. It's been a tense day in Louisville, Kentucky as 2 militia groups armed with semi-automatic weapons took to the streets of the city centre. Hundreds of members of what's called the NFA coalition had travelled to the city to demand justice for police shooting victim Breonna Taylor. But just as they were gathering to march, gunfire. 3 militia members were injured, but it turns out by one of their own weapons. Police putting out security vision of what happened, saying the gun had gone off accidentally. As they rallied nearby, there was a counter-protest by another group of armed militia calling themselves the 3%ers. Police closing streets and putting up barricades to keep the groups apart. Breonna Taylor was a paramedic who was shot and killed in her own apartment in March by police executing a warrant who targeted the wrong home. The militia's leader says he's given the state's Attorney General 4 weeks to finish an investigation into what happened.
And if it's something that we can handle, we might step back and give you a chance to do what the you said you was gonna do. But if you don't, we'll burn this to the ground.
The day ended peacefully in Louisville, but a different story in Seattle, where police and protesters clashed. Portland also seeing another night of confrontations between demonstrators and federal agents as Donald Trump vows to send more officers into more cities this week. Angela?
The first hurricane of the Atlantic storm season has smashed ashore in the United States. Hurricane Hannah crossed land on the Texas coastline, bringing a tidal surge and winds of up to 140 kilometres an hour. An evacuation centre for local residents was set up with extra precautions in place to stop the spread of COVID-19. There have been no immediate reports of deaths or injuries from the Category 1 storm. 3 people were killed when an ultralight aircraft crashed into an apartment building in Western Germany. The crash ignited a fire inside the building. It's thought the dead were 2 people on board the ultralight and 1 person from inside the building. And Peter Green, one of the founders of Fleetwood Mac, has died at the age of 73. Green was considered one of the world's great blues guitarists when he formed the band in 1967.
But don't ask me what I think of you. I might not give the answer that you want me to.
Peter Green left the band in 1970, struggling with mental health. He wrote hits like Albatross and Black Magic Woman. It's a row that's become known as the dueling duchesses, the apparent ill feeling between Kate and Meghan. Now, a new book claims by the time they left the royal family, Harry and Meghan were barely on speaking terms with William and Kate.
By the time of Harry and Meghan's final royal engagement in March, it was clear that relationships inside the royal family were under strain. This briefest of waves was a demonstration of the distance between the Sussexes and the Cambridges, which, according to the new book, started when William first told Harry to take things slowly with, quote, this girl. The new book, Finding Freedom, written with the knowledge of the couple, says Meghan told a friend before she left, I gave up my entire life for this family. I was willing to do whatever it takes. A British documentary last October revealed obvious clues that Harry and Meghan had had enough.
It's not enough to just survive something, right? Like, that's not the point of life. You've got to thrive, you've got to feel happy.
The book reveals the couple considered going to see the Queen unannounced to talk to Her Majesty about their plans to move to the United States. And also, according to sections published in a British newspaper, Harry and Meghan felt the strain of being used for their popularity, hounded by the press, and disparaged back within the institution's walls. Among the revelations is the struggle that Meghan had with the negative criticism she received, calling the headlines "Death by 1,000 Cuts." A spokesman for the couple says the Duke and Duchess of Sussex were never interviewed and did not contribute to the book. Raymond Dale, 7 News.
Time for sport now with Mel McLaughlin. And Mel, a shocking afternoon for the Knights.
Yeah, it was, and they lost 2 key players to what's feared are season-ending injuries. Details up next. Plus the bunker blunder that saw 2 officials axed and robbed the Dragons of victory. And a St Kilda star comes up with a freakish Goal of the Year contender.
Muscle and osteopain can really tie you down. That pain is caused by inflammation. Nurofen helps reduce inflammation and relieve osteo and muscle pain for up to 8 hours. Break free with Nurofen.
A lot of people have sensitive teeth, but gum health is really important as well. If you've got sensitive teeth, you should be looking for something to help with the sensitivity, but you should also be thinking about, do I need to look after my gums? Using the new Sensodyne Sensitivity and Gum toothpaste not only deals with sensitivity, it also maintains gum health when used twice a day, every day. I think it's fantastic to have a dual action toothpaste. 2 benefits with the one toothpaste. What a great idea.
Because sometimes it's more than just growing pains. Bupa offers an online program to help you manage your mental well-being. Bupa, because life happens. Call today
When pain and fever symptoms strike, a kiss can make them feel better. But for effective relief through the night, there's Nurofen for children. Starts to reduce fever from 15 minutes, lasts for up to 8 hours, and is trusted by 9 out of 10 Australian parents.
Mika is a perfectionist when it comes to sculpting hedges. Just don't ask her for a short back and sides.
That's terrible.
It's amazing what you can't do. Task smarter.
Airtasker.
Welcome back. Essendon has avoided embarrassment, holding off Adelaide in a late thriller. It was a heated affair as Matt Crouch and Jacob Townsend squared off at half-time. Irishman Conor McKenna had some solo tricks in his bag as Essendon registered a 3-point win to jump into 5th spot on the ladder. Ned Cahill with the last 2 goals for the Bombers.
Through the traffic, Carl off the deck, brilliant. The kid looks like he can play.
Last night, the Saints showed off their acrobatics and proved they are the real deal, defeating top of the ladder Port Adelaide by 29 points to move up to 3rd. The Knights' premiership aspirations took an almighty hit on a miserable afternoon against the Bulldogs in Newcastle. Hooker Andrew McCulloch suffered a shocking hamstring injury and his replacement Connor Watson went down shortly after with a suspected ruptured Achilles. Both are gone for the season.
Andrews is ripped off the bone, the hamstring, and Connors is a ruptured Achilles, so yeah, both done.
Not good at all. The Bulldogs won 18-12 to end a 6-match losing streak. The NRL have axed bunker officials Steve Clark and Ben Galea after an embarrassing blunder in last night's Sharks-Dragons clash. Jack Williams was incorrectly awarded a try. That's despite being beaten to the ball by Matt Duffy. The Dragons went down by just 4 points.
Pretty clear, right? So how do we keep getting it? How do they keep getting it wrong? And who's accountable for it? It's a stuff-up. But in the end, there's a difference.
The Raiders are counting the cost of their 18-12 win over the Rabbitohs. Fullback Shans Nickel-Klokstad faces several weeks out with a serious finger injury. The ACT Brumbies remain unbeaten in Super Rugby AU. Just over a minute had elapsed at Leichhardt Oval last night when the Brumbies scored an 80-metre special.
What about the hands? And right, sprinting away. What a start for the Brumbies. Tom Wright.
The 24-0 victory moves the Brumbies 4 points clear on the ladder. Western United have boosted their hopes of reaching the A-League finals in their debut season after defeating Melbourne Victory at Bankwest Stadium last night.
Uzcock! What a goal from Western United! An elaborate corner routine.
The 2-1 win moves Western to within a point of the top 6. Adelaide United is clinging on to 6th spot after a 1-1 draw with Wellington. MotoGP superstar Marc Marquez made a valiant effort to return to competition 4 days after having surgery on a broken arm. The 6-time world champion tried to qualify for tonight's Andalusia Grand Prix, but he had to pull out. The injury from last week's nightmare crash was just too painful.
I will sleep well. I will sleep well because I tried, was not possible.
He gave it a go. Mark's brother Alex avoided injury in a heavy tumble. Frenchman Fabio Quartararo is on pole. Aussie Jack Miller will start from 7th. Broke his arm a couple of days later trying to qualify again. Those guys are pretty brave.
Pretty brave indeed. All crazy. OK, thanks, mate. Thanks. Still to come in 7 News, we'll have all your Monday weather details right around the country.
1, 2, 3, 4. So clap it back. Hey, clap, clap. So clap it back.
Centrum provides multiple health benefits in just one tablet. Centrum, complete from A to Zinc.
Thanks for calling ING. This is Adam speaking. How can I help you? No, I'm currently working from home.
Oh, you can call anytime, so...
Sorry. And she's currently nibbling at my toe right now.
Yeah, working from home was a bit tricky at first, but...
There's definitely been some stray farts, hasn't there, mate?
And now your loan's on a fixed rate. Can I help you with anything else?
No, you've made my day.
Well, whatever 2020 throws at you, we're here for a chat anytime.
Too easy.
Tired of cleansers that leave skin dull? The power of micellar with the glow of rosewater. New Garnier Micellar Rosewater Cleanser. Micelles lift dirt like a magnet. In one swipe removes makeup and reveals the glow. New Micellar Rosewater by Garnier. Naturally.
In a world full of flavour, don't let your denture leave you with bad breath. Try new Polydent Cleansing Wipes, our quickest and easiest way to refresh your denture for that super fresh feeling. At home or out and about.
Here's Lisa. She got no assistance lifting this heavy bag of cement and sprang a leak. But Lisa has poise. New Poise Thin and Discreet Extra Pads are 45% thinner than Poise Extra Pads with the same protection. It takes poise.
Special occasions should be celebrated, but Tim suffers heartburn and Tom suffers indigestion, so they use Gaviscon Dual Action, which, like all antacids, neutralises stomach acid, but also forms a protective barrier against reflux. Try Gaviscon Dual Action.
It's Australian to stick together through ups and downs. It's super to know that Australia's largest super fund is investing for you like no other fund can. It's yours, your money for your future with Australian Super.
Coles Supermarkets has launched its latest collectibles for children, but this time it's not plastic toys, rather mini books to encourage reading. The mini Treehouse books have been created by best-selling author Andy Griffiths and illustrator Terry Denton.
Whilst 83% of Australians want to buy their children books, only 22% do for whatever economic reasons.
There are 24 books in the series. Checking the national weather now. As we reported earlier, a trough with a low pressure system is bringing rain and storms to eastern New South Wales, southeastern Queensland and parts of Victoria. It's mostly clear and dry elsewhere under a high pressure system. Let's take a look at the national capitals. Dry and windy in Brisbane and 21 degrees. Wet and windy in Sydney, 16 degrees. Showers in Canberra and just 13. Melbourne should see a shower or two and a top of 14 degrees. Partly cloudy in Hobart. A sunny afternoon ahead in Adelaide and 16 degrees. Perth should see showers developing, 22 degrees there. And in Darwin, a sunny day ahead, 33 degrees. And that is 7 News for now. Our next bulletin is 7 News at 6. I'm Angela Cox. Thanks so much for your company. Have a great night.
This is the World Cup of cooking. Welcome to Plate of Origin. We're all Australians, all from different backgrounds.
This is what great sport is all about, but it's transferred to food.
I really want to do my country proud.
OMG. I'm having that recipe, please.
There's always something to learn about food.
I've never had one of those.
Absolutely delicious.
Sometimes everybody needs food you already love.
And loads of new food you're gonna fall in love with.
Australia, meat and 3 veg.
It sounds better in French, try it.
La viande et 3 légumes. Oui. Are you going to be taking the Meghan and my French accent the whole way through this competition?
If we can understand you, yes.
Okay, good.
Let the flames begin!